Good morning. It's a wonderful day to wander, and it is our very first day in Berlin. So we had a little bit of a jet lag baby last night, but now it's almost 8 a.m. and check this. Doesn't he look like a little angel? Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wake them both up because we have a fun adventure planned this morning. You ready to come along? But before we get too far into this adventure, I forgot. Introductions are in order. Grabbed a taxi, headed to the hotel. And somebody came to join us. Skating.
Here we go.
What do you think, Dash?
So are you happy Aunt Lori's here?
Yeah.
But first, coffee and tea.
Way to go. To go again. 22.
One of the things we miss the most when we're back in the States is the food, because it is just so stinking fresh here in Europe. So the reason that we're here in Berlin, if you haven't been following along with our channel, is because we're here to run the Berlin Marathon next Sunday. Well, and for these two goofballs to actually rollerblade a marathon the day before, but that's another story. That being said, Daniel and I are really getting interested in potentially getting bikes like what you just saw, because this is Daniel's 5th and my 4th 6-star marathon, which means we'll soon have completed that challenge and need something new. So, and always missing a shoe. So we're thinking triathlons, Ironmans. You done one? Tell us what you think. Comments below. Berlin is a beautiful city, and you can easily walk around for hours looking at the sights. But today, we are specifically looking to tour that, the Berlin Cathedral. But this is just where you buy tickets, and they're cheap, like maybe €5 or €10 each. The history of the Berlin Cathedral actually dates back to the 15th century, but it didn't become the ornate building that it is until the early 1900s. You could easily spend hours here just looking at all of the intricate, beautiful things, but we're here for a reason. Yes, it's 267 stairs, but Dash is only 23 pounds.
Alright, let's do this. How you doing? Yeah?
Try not to fall down.
Yeah. How's it going so far? I think we're done, right? No, there's more stairs.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. There's a gajillion stairs, but I promise the views up here are going to be worth it. I just hit my step goal.
How you doing back there?
I'm good. I'm taking pictures.
Wow.
Morgan's getting louder.
What do you see? All right, it looks like we made it. Ha, told you it was gonna be worth it. Would you climb all these stairs for this view? Leave a comment below. I know. Dash loves the big group of silver ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now this is a pretty cool view of the front of the church. Can you say river? River, good. I showed him, look, the body of water is called a river. He said, bye-bye.
What do you see? What do you see? You like that?
More steps.
More steps up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could have added 6 more steps.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Dude.
Talk Daniel into teamwork in this. I took him up, he can take him down. After seeing the incredible views from the top of the cathedral, we were excited to try a different mode of transportation to learn and see a little bit more of Berlin. So our cousin Lori found this super cool electric boat tour, and we've never done a boat tour in Berlin. So we figured that makes perfect sense. Plus, this one specifically only fits 30 people. There are a lot of boat tours in this town, but it looks kind of like mass-produced type, you know, the typical thing. And so this one looks kind of unique and a little bougie, which, well, you know, that's kind of our style.
Hello. Very good. Thank you.
Die Katakomben. Im Zweiten Weltkrieg wurde der Dom stark beschädigt. Am Aufbau auch sehr eindrucksvolle Konzerte gelungen.
The cathedral was badly damaged during the Second World War in the 90s. Today, in addition to regular church,
Schloss der Republik erbaut. Der Sitz der Volkskammer.
If you ever take a cruise like this, or really any kind of tour, make sure you take a look and see what languages are spoken. For this cruise, it's done in both German and English, so as English speakers, we got to learn a little bit along the way.
Die Grenzübergangsstelle für Zugreisende am Bahnhof Friedrichstraße.
The river that we're going down is the Spree, and it goes through a majority of downtown Berlin, and it's really beautiful. And yes, Dash is absolutely living his best life. The flagship cruise is about an hour, and it definitely gets 5 out of 5 flamingos. So next time you're in Berlin, make sure to check them out. It's a fantastic trip. Because we've been traveling for 5.5 years, we've gone on a lot of different tours to get to know a city. Biking tours, hiking tours, running tours, boat tours. This happens to be one of our favorite ways to get to know a city. And that is go on a walking tour. So we found this particular one through Airbnb Experiences, which if you're not familiar with, we love Airbnb Experiences. It's in your Airbnb app, but basically you walk for this one. It's a 3-hour walking tour, and you go see all the sights. Get to learn a little bit from a local, which is pretty fun. Dashman, are you ready for the walking tour? What do you think? Yeah. Okay. That's where we are.
She's like, we could do one.
Now, the reason for that is when Mitte went to the Soviets and then became an East Berlin district, everyone in the East
So we're starting our tour on Museum Island, which is in the east part of Berlin. There are 5 museums on the island, and yes, it is actually on a little island. Museum number 1, museum number 2, museum number 3, museum number 4, which is actually the oldest one in Berlin, and Germany as a whole, I think, but the 5th one you can't see from here. So maybe we'll run into that later this week.
Even though we've previously taken this tour, it was back in 2019, not to call that period PP. Yeah, pre-pandemic. I feel like a lot of that information has been wiped from my brain. But yeah, it's good to get a refresher when you come back to a big city like this, because honestly you get new bits every time you do a tour like this, and there is just so much to learn. I mean, an entire country's history is extensive, and therefore it's good to do these more than once.
That being said, we've even taken walking tours and biking tours like this in the States for like our hometown. So we did one for Nashville. It was so much fun. Even though I grew up there, lived there 20 years, we learned new stuff. So you don't have to go to a big city or somewhere new to do something fun like this. You can always wander local, super locally where you live.
So this is where I'm going to test your knowledge of architectural history, okay?
All right, so we just learned something really interesting on this tour. Remember the Berlin Cathedral? It's not a Catholic church. But I read a whole brochure and did not realize it was a Protestant church. Who would have thunk? Usually they're not that fancy. But apparently it was built in Spre River.
So I guess those things yesterday weren't trapped.
Stuff down, because at the end of the day, if you're not even going to teach it,
This actually has a ramp, and that is not a given here in this city. It's an old city, so it's to be expected, but a lot of the time I'm just carrying them up and down stairs in a stroller.
Daddy Sherpa duties. So this is a memorial to anyone who has ever died due to war or tyranny. It's pretty cool.
Otherwise, everything you see has been renovated or repaired since the Second World War. In this part of town, it was a neglected part of Mitte of East Berlin structure. So, Berlin is not known for being a beautiful city, so enjoy it while it lasts, okay? This is the only beautiful square of Berlin, right? We're at Bebelplatz now. It was the patron saint of Silesia.
Dash loves these walking tours too. Great people watching, napping, all of the above.
So, Hotel de Rome, that you...
I'll take your word for it.
So that is a tribute to the 20,000 books that were burned here. What I just showed you is glass, and then below it you have empty bookshelves lining the room beneath. Interesting thing about some of the art installations, he was telling us that the newer generations take a more abstract approach when they're creating some of these pieces, and the idea behind these newer pieces is that because they're abstract, their goal is to take the criminality out of what happened. So for instance, when you were to see this thing in the ground, you can clearly see that it's bookshelves that are empty. They don't have anything like, symbolic of burning books, but that is the place where the burning of books took place. And another thing is that plaque I just showed you is a famous quote here that mentions something about that being a prelude to worse things to come. In this instance, of course, this is not a very good period of German history. They started with burning books and ended with ultimately burning people. So I like the fact that they're creating these installations and removing the criminality or the focus on the criminals, but yet still documenting some things that have happened throughout history here.
German word nostalgie means nostalgia. Ost means east. Nostalgie is nostalgia for.
Oh look, he's got on his t-shirt.
The car would be available and the child would be old enough to drive it. Nowadays you just see tourists driving them.
Ooh.
This is definitely one of the most brilliant things that I've ever seen. Now, when it comes to roadside safety, they turned the figures that you see at every crosswalk into a brand with cult-like following. There's gear, there's a cafe, there's even cookie cutters in the shapes of the crosswalk men. So really, really, really brilliant. Not to mention that it brings a lot more awareness to roadside safety too. So that's a huge, huge win. A lot can be learned about that, from that. They are beginning the multi-day process of setting up for the marathon. So you can see behind me here, towards the end of the course, you run through the Spre River gate here, and it's one of the most amazing experiences ever. Now, if you're not following this channel, here's the craziness that is about to ensue this weekend. On Saturday, I will be rollerblading or inline skating an entire marathon with my cousin, and that is Saturday afternoon. Now, just a handful of hours later, the following morning, I'll be ditching the skates and putting on some running shoes and then completing the Berlin Marathon with Lauren the next day. So lots of action ahead. I'm gonna run and skate with a phone. The skating portion should be quite crazy because I just bought a pair of skates a handful of days ago. So that's gonna make it interesting. And I'm kind of like Bambi on skates right now. So how we're gonna make it 26 miles, no clue.
We hope you enjoyed exploring Berlin for the day with us. Want to see all the craziness that's about to ensue with our rollerblading and marathoning weekend? We're going to be having an exciting series launching in just a couple of days. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow along. But until then, my friend, make sure you wander local this week because, as you know, it's good for the soul.
Going pretty fast now.
Who knows? Maybe Daniel will even survive this thing.